It has been an incredibly long time since we finished the first year of Stardew Valley without using a furnace. We've made a load of progress so far, and as I'm writing the script, I remember none of it. I also recorded the first season of the second year a while back, and I don't remember any of that either. So we'll be finding out what I was up to together. Let's have a quick recap of the rules for everyone, old viewers and new. This is Stardew Valley, a relatively simple farming game with a few interesting things such as dwarves, junimos and crobus. I've created a challenge where I attempt to reach perfection without using a furnace. Sounds impossible, right? Yeah, I thought that too, but it turns out you can. Most of the bars get dropped by void spirits. The only one that doesn't is the radioactive bar that you can get in a more advanced way. That's it, that's literally the rules, just don't use a furnace. I've also found a few ways to get a higher drop chance from the void spirits. You get a small boost from using a burglar's ring, and you get a 3% chance when reading a monster compendium book. Thanks for that, by the way, Concerned Ape. With that being said, let's get on with the video. On the first day of spring, I see Kent at my door. What is it with NPCs being at my door at 6 AM? Do they sleep outside in a line or something, like as a concert? I get a notice saying that stuff is now far more expensive. That literally does not impact me as I don't buy stuff. I hoard gold like a goblin. As it's version 1.6, moss grows on trees. Excellent, I'll find a use for this eventually. After speaking to a few NPCs, I get the bone quest for Gunther. I couldn't actually write this without making it sound incredibly inappropriate. I need to collect 100 bone shards and hand them in. After buying some seeds, I plant them down and head to bed. There's a bit of wind during the night. There's a letter from Pierre the next day telling me that he has new seeds. I make my way to the woods and spot a bizarre looking tree with a question mark. Years of playing video games tells me that this is something I can interact with. All I need to do is collect 100 hardwood. I finally get Lewis's lucky purple shorts from Marnie's room and have nothing else to say on the matter. I also find Lewis and hand over the not so good goods. After running around the village, I go to the mines to make some progress on Gunther's quest. I decide to sell some excess gems and cheese before going to bed. Demetrius, Gus and Pam all send cooking recipes, which I'll do at some point in the future. But for now, I'm back in the mines collecting bones. Eventually, I have enough and end up completing the quest, and I get an achievement. After collecting 100 hardwood, I return to the mysterious tree stump. One cutscene later and it's fixed. Now it has a window. I make my way back to the mines to get some more bars. I haven't done this in a while. I don't have the best of luck, so I head home and dream of level 10 combat. That's our first level 10 skill. For anyone interested, I picked Desperado. Some carrots were ready to be harvested today. Gunther sent me a recipe for a bone meal and Lewis sent me some money. There was a raccoon that wanted some fish. Obviously I'll forget about this. After collecting a ticket, I get a Star Drop tea from the prize machine. While I was thinking of who to give it to, I bought a Star Drop from Krobus. I decided to give the tea to Krobus, and look at that little face. I headed home and made some bread. That's literally all I made. I did a spot of fishing, trying to catch the ice pip. I did manage to catch some cave jelly though. Unfortunately, the fish didn't appear, so I went home and slept. Evelyn was at my door on day 117, bringing me the garden pot. She also taught me the recipe. I went to see George and gave him a hot pepper that he asked for a while back. I figured that today I would try and get the ice pip. After a lengthy battle, I finally managed to catch it. I ventured further into the mines to find more void spirits. I didn't have much luck, so I went home and dreamed of level 9 mining. I got a letter from Emily asking for a fresh apricot. Today was a good luck day, so I went to the mines to find some more bars. I went to Clint to ask him to open some geodes, but I got distracted by Lewis with this conversation. Clint gave me a pyrite and a ghost crystal. Ooh, spooky. They were both handed over to Gunther. It was a big day today as I crafted my first tapper. The reason this is a big deal is because it requires 2 copper bars. I decided to test my luck and went fishing for the lava eel. It didn't work in my favour, and so I went to get more bars. Eventually I went home and made a mackie roll and went to bed. There was a big harvest today, quite a lot of stuff was ready. Lewis sent me a recipe for spaghetti, and Clint sent me a gold bar. I decided to craft a geode crusher, which is a pretty expensive recipe. I also decided to craft a worm bin. The travelling card was here and I bought the Stardew Valley almanac, and I got some farming experience. After that, I spoke to Marnie and gave her a bunch of amaranth, completing yet another quest. I also made the worm bin into a deluxe version of itself. Clint opened a few mystery boxes and gave me a lovely treasure chest. I cleared the area behind the hot air balloon and found a prize ticket. I still had the mackie roll on me, so I handed it in to the community centre. As I was killing void spirits, I found a purple mushroom. After getting another bar, I handed in the purple mushroom, completing the crafts room in the community centre. We are so close to finishing the community centre. I went home and went straight to sleep. Marnie was at the farm on day 120, and she was after a cave carrot for her goats. After she left, Emily appeared to tell me that I can use her sewing machine. Once she was gone, I started harvesting the rest of the crops. Marnie had also left me a letter telling me how to cook pale broth. I cooked some pancakes and a chocolate cake. Healthy breakfast. I made my way to Demetrius and gave him a daffodil, and he gave me a prize ticket in return. During the previous night, the Dynamos repaired the bridge and I was able to access the quarry. I cleared it out today. I also managed to find a rusty cog. It took a lot longer than I thought it would, and eventually I went to bed. I decided that today I would try and catch the lava eel. Failing that, I accepted Pierre's prime produce quest. I finally handed in the prize tickets and got a bed and some mushroom logs. I went back into the mines to look for more bars. After a day of failure, I went home and slept. I desperately wanted to catch the lava eel, so I went straight to the fishing spot. Again, luck was not on my side, so I went to Gunther and I gave him the rusty cog. Then I went to Marnie and gave her the cave carrot. I returned to the mines to get some more bars. I didn't have much luck again and went home to sleep. Clint sent us another gold bar in the post. I'm glad that he's finally being helpful towards the challenge. I went to the mines and I got an enchanted yeti tooth. Having not caught a new fish in a while, I went to the sewers and caught the mutant carp. I returned home and cooked a baked fish, getting an achievement as well. After chopping down some trees, I headed home and went to sleep. I got a letter from Lewis this morning telling me about the annual egg festival. After gathering some resources, I went to Robin and asked for a deluxe barn. I'd been saving my money for something, but I couldn't remember what. I doubt it was a barn upgrade though. I spent the rest of the day in the mines before heading home for an early night. There were a few cauliflowers ready on day 125. Emily gave me a recipe for a salad, and Demetrius gave me a shell. I got my first oak resin today. Soon it was time for the egg festival. I ran around and spoke to everyone. I also bought as many strawberry seeds as I could from Pierre. During the egg hunt, I found 10 eggs. It wasn't as many as last year, but I still somehow won. I went to the community centre afterwards and handed in the oak resin. I planted down the strawberry seeds before heading to bed. The next day, I got another letter from Lewis about the Calico event. For the next 3 days, there will be games, free food, and stalls in the Calico Desert. Robin is hard at work in the barn today. I handed in the prize ticket from the egg hunt and I got a new tree sapling, just what I wanted. I went to Pierre and bought loads of parsnip seeds for the produce quest. I headed home and began to plant seeds. It took me a lot longer than I thought, and I finally planted the tree sapling in the greenhouse. After a relatively productive day, I went to bed. An army of potatoes were ready to be harvested today. Evelyn asked for a leek for George. I guess I can do that. I made my way to the Calico Festival and had a look around. I went to Maru's stall and traded some calico eggs for an iridium bar. I didn't do much else, so I went home and went to bed after placing down a cactus. Caroline sent me a recipe for parsnip soup today. I also noticed that we now have a deluxe barn. Thanks, Robin. I went into the quarry mine shaft and got a cursed mannequin. Eventually, I made it to the end and got the golden scythe. I made my way to town and gave Evelyn a leek. I went into the mines to try and get some more bars. Eventually, I went to bed. There were a lot of crops that needed watering, and I cannot wait for more sprinklers. After doing normal farm chores, I headed to Cindersap Forest to gather some more wood. As I was cutting down this tree, I got a book called Woody's Secret. This gives me a chance to get double the wood. Once my inventory was sorted, I headed to bed. I thought that was it for the day, but Clover gave birth, which is weird because Clover was the only goat that I had. I named the new baby goat Gwen. There was a large harvest of parsnips on day 130. I swung by Pierre's and handed in the vegetables for the quest and got a nice juicy 2,500 gold. I also saw Emily and handed over the apricot. I handed in a prize ticket and got a book about friendship. I spent most of the afternoon fighting void spirits with no success, so I went fishing for a lava eel. However, it refused to appear, so I went to bed and dreamed of level 10 farming. That's my second skill to level 10. I picked agriculturist. There was a letter from Linus the next day with a recipe for fiber seeds. I made a beeline for Marnie's and I bought a pig. And I named him Parsley. I handed in another prize ticket and got a sports cap this time. I wanted to get my foraging skill up, so I went and chopped down some trees in Cindersap Forest. I decided to have an early night and went to bed and dreamed of level 9 foraging. There was another letter today. This time it was from Marty, and she was telling me about an auto grabber. I haven't hunted for bars in a while, so that's what I did today. I got another Yeti tooth in a barrel, and that actually works better than my other one. I took a few mystery boxes to Clint, and I got a mystery book. I was actually at Clint's to ask him to upgrade my pickaxe. About time too. Then it was back to bar hunting. I didn't have much luck, so I went home and slept. The next day, Pierre asked for sashimi, and the first strawberries of the season were ready to be harvested. After buying some garlic, I gave Pierre the goods. I had a quick look at friendship, and I was surprised at how well it was going, until I wasn't. I headed into the mines to get some more bars. I came very close to dying, so I went home and planted the seeds before heading to bed. There was another harvest of strawberries today, and once they were collected, I got to watering the crops. Pierre sent me a recipe for blueberry tart, and gave me a mini shipping bin. After that, I went to see Clint and got my newly upgraded pickaxe. I broke this rock and went up this hidden path and found a trash book. This gives me a higher chance of finding stuff in the trash cans. I returned to the farm and finally broke the big rocks that were scattered around. I headed back to town and accepted the rock rejuvenation quest for Emily. We all know she's going to eat them anyway. I had been hoarding the gems, so it was an easy quest to do, but I also got an achievement from it. I went to the mines to find some more bars, but I found a mushroom floor instead. My inventory quickly got cluttered, so I went home and sorted it out, and then I went to bed. On day 135, Emily sent me a sewing machine in the post. Who is the postal person of Stardew Valley? Lewis also told me about the flower dance. I spent most of the day in the mines looking for more bars. My farm was beginning to look abandoned again, so I decided to clear the area by the mushroom trees. After a not so productive day, I went to bed. It was the day of the flower dance, and Clint sent me a gold bar in the post. Soon the flower dance began. I made a beeline for Pierre's shop and bought the Velcro that I couldn't afford last year. Then I ran around and spoke to everyone for extra friendship. I asked Emily to be my dance partner as we had the most friendship points. We did the dance and I would have liked to wear a tuxedo, but I guess farm clothes work as well. After that I spent some time in the mines, but I didn't get anything, so I went home to bed. The next day I went straight to the mines to try and get some more bars. Eventually I made my way into town and found a prize ticket waiting for me. I wonder how long that had been there. I used it and managed to get a dehydrator. I spent the rest of the day fishing. I'm not really sure why, I just did. Soon enough, I went home and slept. It was raining the next day and there were strawberries to harvest. My geode crusher gave me an ancient drum which will be donated to Gunther at some point. As it was Friday, Krobus was selling an iridium sprinkler, so I bought it. Alex was working out, so I gave him a fish and he gave me a prize ticket. I love this game. I used the prize ticket and got 4 mystery boxes. I gave Gunther the ancient drum and he gave me a drum block back. After that, it was mine time. I got quite a few magma geodes, but no bars, so I went home and slept. The next day, I went to Clint and asked him to open the mystery boxes. I'm not sure why I can't do it, as they are only boxes. I got another book of mysteries, as well as a glowstone ring. I spent the rest of the day bouncing between fishing and looking for bars. I did manage to find a new outfit though. Eventually, I went home and slept. It's the final day of spring, and the wizard sent me a purple mushroom. I'll be honest, I forgot about the wizard. My ancient seed was finally ready to be harvested. I put it into the seed maker and got a single seed back. I went to Robin's and bought a pet bowl. Soon, Hugo will have a friend. After that, I went to Clint and finally asked him to upgrade my watering can. Then, it was off to the mines for those bars that I really need. It's been a really productive season. We've made a lot of friends, gained a few achievements, and nearly completed the community centre. Hopefully in the summer, I'll be able to finish the community centre or the museum. There's still a lot to do, but I've made a huge chunk of progress so far. With that being said, I head to bed and dream of warmer weather.